What is up, enthusiasts? It is Cedar Flags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. I know it's been a bit, but I am back making videos. It is going to slow down a little bit with the upcoming year going on, but I do have a video going on for you today, and it is a speculation video talking about 4D Freespins and Cedar Fair. So as you may or may not know, King's Dominion, a Cedar Fair park, introduced Tumbili. Tumbili is a 4D Freespin and the first of its kind at a Cedar Fair park. In today's video, I want to look at every Cedar Fair park and talk about the probabilities of them adding these rides. I have separated all of them into three categories: very likely, neutral, or not likely. Now these three categories are pretty self-explanatory, and I will put all the Cedar Fair parks in one out of three categories. So without further ado, this is Cedar Flags, and today I will be answering the question, will Cedar Fair get any more free spins? Before I start the video, I just want to let you all know, if you haven't subscribed already and you enjoy my content, click that subscribe button. Let's get right on to the video. For a little bit of comparison with these parks, a free spin of this model like Tumbili or Dragon Slayer would cost around $6 to $8 million. So let's start off with the likely parks. The park that I think is most likely to get a 4D free spin is King's Dominion because they have already announced it. Okay, whatever. Let's get to the real first. So yes, we are starting off with the likely parks. These are parks that I could see getting an S&S 4D free spin in the near future. And there are some factors. One is spending, the other is location, and other is popularity and mobility. So let's get right into it. The very most likely park I could see one of these coasters going to is the one and the only Canada's Wonderland in Vaughan, Ontario. Now, this would be a pretty good fit for the park, because the park does have a collection of monster B&Ms. They do have a decent amount of filler coasters. Some of them are good, like Thunder Run, The Bat, and Vortex, but then there are other pretty bad ones there. They have a Zamperla Valere of Vekoma SLC, and then you have the Woodies. But I could definitely see this being a good filler coaster at Canada's Wonderland. Put this in the Skyrider plot of land, and I think it would be a perfect fit. They could add some good theming there, and have a pretty good setting around the ride near the water. There are not one of these in Canada. Of course, La Ronde is adding V-Pair, but we don't know when that's going to happen, and they are two completely different models. And though I can most realistically see this, I also think this would be a personal favorite of mine. Imagine an S&S 4D at Canada's Wonderland. I think it would be a phenomenal fit. But moving on to the next park, we have Valley Fair. Now, I know what you're thinking, Valley Fair hasn't gotten a coaster since 2007. You could look at that either, well, that means they probably won't get a coaster for a very long time, or two, it's already been a very long time. I mean, 2007, that was 14 years ago, 15 counting 2022. So they're due for a new ride. And I don't think Cedar Fair would spend a bunch of money on this park. This park is one of the less profitable parks in the chain, but what's a less profitable model that's been successful in the past? Well, an S&S 4D free spin. This I think would be one of the best new fits at this park. It fits in so well with the park, and would be completely different from anything near it. They could add this in the old Dinosaurs Alive section, or at least part of it, and maybe have a new front of the park attraction for everyone to enjoy. The last one on the likely tier is Dorney Park in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Now, this is in the same situation as Valley Fair, but I would put it under Valley Fair. They haven't added a coaster since 2009, and we know that they are looking to add a coaster here. There have been a few canceled concepts at this park, including rumored to be Kanonen, and there were actually plans of a Gravity Group or GCI shuttle coaster at the park. I think an S&S 4D would be perfect here. Put it in the old Stinger plot of land, and voila. Now, this is pretty close to Six Flags Great Adventure, which has an S&S, but I feel like this would be able to profit enough because this is more of a local park instead of a regional or destination park like Great Adventure. Most people that are going to Dorney Park will probably just go to Dorney Park, and most people that are going to Great Adventure, well, they're probably going to go to Great Adventure. They both have B&M floorless coasters, B&M inverts. They have more in common than you think. So, when it comes to Dorney Park getting one of these, I say bring it on. But next we go into the neutral category. Parks I don't really see getting these, but parks I could see having a chance with them. So, let's get right onto it. The first neutral park I want to talk about is Carowinds. Now, like other Cedar Fair parks and like other parks in general, they do not have anything similar to this. In fact, there is nothing here that would semi-relate to one of these rides. Now, Carowinds is a pretty big park and they put pretty big investments in this park, so it would be optional. But King's Dominion has also added some world-class coasters in the past, so maybe they could add something like a filler coaster at Carowinds. I think this would be a really good fit at the park and maybe even one of the best rides there for the general public. It's pretty cheap, and if Cedar Fair wanted to throw one of these in, they could. In the old Dinosaurs Alive section maybe across the midway from Afterburn, well, we'll just have to see. But I think that would be the best fit for it. Next, we have Worlds of Fun. Now, even though I absolutely love this park, I haven't been here, but I've seen some really good photos. They haven't added a coaster since 2009 in Prowler. This park is a very similar story to Valley Fair. They have a lot of similar rides, but I feel like Cedar Fair would invest in Valley Fair before they would invest in this. First of all, just like I said, it is a very cheap addition, and if Cedar Fair wanted to add some filler coasters, they could do this. Now, the other thing, they have a lot of free land. They have a lot of free land near Patriot, and they have a lot of near land now with Dinosaurs Alive. Now, that is a very wooded area. If they wanted to chop down a few trees and theme it to a new wooden themed area, that would be cool. But I think the area near Patriot would be a little more likely. This is a very compact ride once again, and I feel like it would be a really good fit at this park. It could maybe fit in between Patriot and Windseeker, as this ride really doesn't take that much of a blueprint. But this ride, oh my goodness, I think it would be a great fit here. Maybe not the favorite for the GP, but there is nothing like this near it, and it would be just another coaster to add on to their already great collection of thrills and roller coasters. Up next, we have Knott's Berry Farm in Southern California near Los Angeles, and also near Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now, Knott's Berry Farm, here's the thing. This is probably one of the most polarized ones I have. There are some really good reasons why this ride would fit good here, and then there are also reasons why this ride should not be here. Let's look at the good reasons first. First of all, this is a very compact park that's pretty well known. Second of all, it is cheap once again. That's kind of the reason for all of these, even though that Knott's Berry Farm likes to flourish on their coaster budgets. But when it comes to other 4D coasters in the area, you'd be competing with X2 at Magic Mountain, and that's a pretty major coaster. Now granted, they are free spinning, and I think the GP could semi-tell them apart, but I really feel like this wouldn't be the best fit for Knott's. Though, I think it would still be a good filler addition. I don't know. I'm torn on this one. This is why it's right in the middle of the pack. And to end off the neutral category, we have Cedar Point, the flagship Cedar Fair park, easily one of the most profitable, right up there with Knott's Berry Farm. Cedar Point is known as coaster capital of the world, according to coaster enthusiasts and the general public. These rides are world class. You have rides like Maverick, Steel Vengeance, Gatekeeper, Top Thrill Dragster, Millennium Force. These are some insane rides. What would an S&S be doing here? Well, maybe, just maybe for a filler coaster, I keep saying that word in this video, I think it could be a good filler coaster because they could possibly break records with it with a limited budget. Now, like I said, these coasters are extremely cheap, by far under $20 million, and if Cedar Point wanted to, they can make the world's tallest and fastest and longest 4D free spinning coaster if they really wanted to. That would be a very easy record to break, but I don't know if I could see Cedar Point actually doing this. Maybe, maybe not. We'll just have to wait and see with that. But let's get into the unlikely parks. Parks that I cannot see getting this at all. Parks that are basically nearly impossible to get. So let's get into it. Finally, the unlikely parks. We are starting off with Michigan's Adventure. Yeah, Michigan's Adventure, a pretty depressing park. The last coaster that was added at this park was in the 90s. That is right, the 1990s. That was before I was born. And when did Cedar Fair buy this? 2001. Does something smell fishy? Yeah, they haven't added a single coaster to this park ever since they purchased it. And to be fair, I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon. And even a clone like an S&S 4D Freespin, I still don't think it could be here. Snuggled right by Six Flags Great America, which has a bigger S&S Freespin, I really don't see one coming to this park. and I would be genuinely surprised if that happened. So if that happens in the future, call me wrong. I just really do not see it. The next nearly impossible park I want to talk about is Kings Island near Cincinnati, Ohio in Mason. Now, this is a great park, one of the best run parks of all time, if not the best. The operations here are incredible. All the major rides have such a high capacity, so what would such a low capacity small ride be doing here? All the rides at Kings Island are standout. You have one of the best GCIs in the country, a B&M Giga, the best B&M in the world with Diamondback in my personal opinion, and you have a world-class invert as well in Banshee. I mean, is their next coaster really going to be an S&S? I don't think so. Mystic Timbers was a filler coaster. Mystic Timbers. So, if that's a filler coaster, this is garbage. Oh, right. Okay. So, we have one more on the list, and I honestly think it is impossible that this park will get it. I think there is like a 0% chance that this park would ever get this. It is California's Great America. Now, I feel like this would be a great fit for it, but you have Six Flags Discovery Kingdom less than an hour away with Joker, a bigger, better, and longer version of Tumbili. So I really don't see that happening. Anyway, I don't want to talk any more about that because I think that's pretty obvious. When you have another coaster of the same model that's bigger and better in the same city, yeah, I think that's a sign to not get it. But anyway, this is Cedar Flags. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comments below. Let me know if I missed anything, maybe I said something wrong that you disagree with. Just let me know. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. We are well on our way to 7,000 subscribers. And once I get to 7K, I'm doing a Q&A. I was not expecting that to rhyme, but whatever. This is Cedar Flags, and I will see you all later.